On February 21, 1977, in Chicago, Illinois, neighbors living on the 15th floor of an apartment in North Pine Grove Ave began complaining about an apparent smell of smoke coming from the room down the hall. The fire department was called and arrived at the scene and put out the fire. But as they began to extinguish the flames, they stumbled upon a horrific discovery. A nude body of a woman stuffed underneath a smoldering mattress with a butcher knife plunged in her chest. The body was identified as Teresita Basa, an employee at the Edgewater Hospital. Hello everyone, and welcome to Rip from the Textbooks. This is our first video in 2022, and we will be tackling this mysterious case of a murder being solved through the help of the other side. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Jess, and yes, this is our new episode of the new year, and it's gonna be a banger one.
Indeed.
Indeed.
And it's quite a famous case.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, ask anyone, I'm pretty sure not everyone has heard of it, but it's especially like if you're into like some of the true crime community, I guess.
I hope it's not just a case of Pinoy pride.
Pinoy pride. Oh my god!
Because of like the victim or someone in this case was Filipino. That is why it's so famous.
I hope that's not the case. But anyways, this is gonna be a very, of course, it's another murder episode, but you know, this one is very different, I would say. But especially when I was researching and reading and researching and writing about it, I fell into this rabbit hole. I was talking to like...
It definitely has its fair share of twists and turns.
Oh, definitely. And you're gonna learn more about it. I'm gonna talk more after we get everything out. This depraved rant I've been going on. In fact, I got one of our friends in on it because I talked to him.
Yeah. It's quite a, you're quite deep in it. I hope you can get out.
Nah, it's fine. It's not. I'm not obsessed.
Oh, I'll give it 2 weeks. You're probably gonna be in some mental institution.
But yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. This is probably one more weirder ones that we've tackled so far. I mean, it's not like the previous ones were normal, but this is definitely a tier above a lot of them, at least for me.
Indeed. Now, let's get started. On February 21, 1977, in Chicago, Illinois, at exactly 8:30 in the evening, neighbors living on the 15th floor of an apartment in North Pine Grove Avenue began complaining about an apparent smell of smoke coming from the room down the hall. The fire department was called and arrived at the scene at exactly 9 p.m. and put out the fire in 15B. But as they began to extinguish the flames, they stumbled upon a horrific discovery. A nude body of a woman stuffed underneath a smoldering mattress with a butcher knife plunged in her chest. The body was identified as Teresita Basa, an employee at the Edgewater Hospital. Teresita Basa was born in 1929 in the Philippines and was said to have lived a privileged life. Being the sole daughter of a lawyer, she managed to graduate from Assumption College in Manila before moving to the US, where she graduated from Indiana University with a degree in music. She later settled down in Chicago, Illinois, and began working as a respiratory therapist at the now-defunct Edgewater Hospital. She was described by her colleagues and neighbors as a quiet, reserved, but polite woman who was dedicated to caring for her patients. At the same time, she was studying at Loyola College, where she was preparing for a doctor's thesis in music. In her free time, she would give piano lessons and was said to be writing a book. All in all, the last person one would expect to be a victim of such a violent crime. Investigators initially believed this to be a case of a due to the nude state of her body. However, just before she was flown back to the Philippines, medical examinations determined that she was not. Detective Joseph Stachula and Lee R. Eplin were assigned to the case and determined that the fire, both started from the clothes and mattress, was meant to destroy physical evidence. Only 2 initial leads were ever discovered in the ensuing investigation. Ruth Loeb, a co-worker of Teresita at Edgewater, phoned her at 7:30 the same evening and talked to her for half an hour, in which Teresita mentioned a male guest coming over, but she never identified who, as well as a handwritten note reading "Get theater tickets for AS." But the AS mentioned could not be identified. But even after interviewing a number of people, the case eventually went cold. It wasn't until half a year later in August that they seemingly were given a hand from the other side. Dr. Juan Chua, a Filipino who worked as a surgical assistant at the Franklin Boulevard Community Hospital, claimed to the police that his wife Remy would go into a comatose state and then be possessed by a woman who claimed to be the deceased Teresita Basa. During this trance-like state, Teresita, using Remy to communicate, positively identified her killer as a man named Alan Showery, who she said came over to fix her TV and even had stolen some jewelry, which the police did not even know about. Initially hesitant about the lead, it wasn't until they had identified an Alan Showery who worked as a technician at the Edgewater Hospital did Detectives Stachula and Eplin pursued him as a suspect. Detectives invited Showery, who was then living with his girlfriend, to the police station, where Showery said that he did go to Teresita's apartment the night she was murdered to fix her TV, but realized he didn't have the right tools and went home. But his girlfriend claimed Showery knew nothing of fixing electronics before detectives noticed a new pendant and ring she was wearing, claiming them to be late Christmas gifts from Showery, but Teresita's relatives positively identified them as hers. Showery eventually confessed and said he had gone to her apartment to rob her, but merely got $30 and a handful of jewelry. The case later went to trial and was sensationally dubbed the Voice from the Grave trial, during which Showery recanted his statement and it ended with a mistrial after a hung jury. A new hearing was scheduled for February 1979, but during Showery's stay in jail, he once again changed his statement and pleaded guilty, and was sentenced to 14 years for murder and 4 to 12 concurrent years for robbery and arson. While seemingly a done-and-done deal, issues with Remy Chua herself arose both during the investigation and trial. It was revealed that Chua had also worked at the Edgewater Hospital as a respiratory therapist and had actually met Teresita during orientation, and despite not working the same shift, had visited Teresita's apartment before. She had also worked with Showery, who reports claim she was frightened of, as well as Showery complaining about the quality of her work, which was said to have contributed to her being fired, which was when the trance-like state began apparently occurring. But in 1985, Showery was released after merely serving 5 years, and his whereabouts have been unknown since the early 2000s. To this day, the murder itself and subsequent investigation, and the mystery that seemingly surrounds it, makes it possibly one of the most bizarre murder cases in Chicago's history. Pinoy pride, let's go!
Oh my god.
We made Chicago history. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm just playing. I don't know if I should.
No. But yeah, that's what. Anyways, that's the exact point I've been so hung up on in this past few days. It's the Remy Chua suspect, the witness man or the person.
Yeah, she's very suspicious in such a way that a lot of factors kind of lead to her having something to do with the case.
Something to do with it.
You know, it's
like
go on.
I mean, you have to consider this two possibilities. Either she was actually possessed, she was possessed by the spirit of Teresita that led her to her murderer, or second is that she wasn't. But it does raise the question of like, how'd she know that one detail about Teresita being robbed?
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, I doubt but that's just me. It's my opinion. So, take it for a grain of salt, like a lot of salt, a truckload of salt.
Yeah. Truckload. We're not authorities of this, by the way. This is just us going off what we read and stuff like that
from the internet. But I really think that there was no possession. She was just really she probably had some sort of vendetta after being fired for not working as well. Right. So, she probably
she had a grudge.
She probably is okay, I'm gonna do something to Teresita, as revenge or something. Not revenge, but Teresita's probably like the in the that one in the workplace that's like the golden child, like the one that everyone likes and all that.
Oh, yeah. So you think it's like she's trying to take revenge on
trying to do something really really bad to the golden child, as to vent, to kind of vent out the negative feelings. It could be the case. That's why she knew about the robbery, because she probably had something to do with it.
Yeah, I would say so, but I don't think in everything I read, there doesn't seem to be a mention of how their relationship was.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But here's the thing: the timeline of events with Remy Chua herself seems kind of murky, since we don't know when she was fired, or when was she fired before Teresita was murdered, or after. So, and how long has it been going? So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to pinpoint. But Aaron agrees there's some sus stuff around her.
Yeah. So,
did you know?
Okay.
Did you know? While I was reading about this as well, Joseph Statula. I'm not sure this is true. I just read it on one of the sources. I'm not sure if this is true, but apparently, after the trial and the investigation and stuff, Joseph Statula, one of the lead detectives, was apparently he became a kind of a joke. Like, apparently, police officers would leave him voicemails on his telephone pretending to be dead people.
Oh man, he got bullied.
He got bullied. I'm not sure if it's true, but if it is true, I feel bad for the guy.
I do. I hope it's not true. I hope people are just clowning, because wow, that is such a dick thing to do.
Yeah, and
it's like not everyone gets to choose their cases.
And I mean, he got their guy in the end.
Yeah. They did get showery.
They did. They got
it's weird that he got 5 years for murder and robbery.
Yeah, he served 5 years.
That's
He served 5 years. I think maybe because of the plea deal thing.
Yeah,
he
it
pled
could be
guilty,
yeah.
but
because he pled guilty,
and
so of course he got a deal out of it. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
But it's funny, no one knows where he is now. I read the report that ever since from the early 2000s, no one knows where he is or where he's been going.
Sheesh. Leave him alone. He's probably living in the woods somewhere.
Probably. But it would be he'd either be around his 80 to 90 or dead.
Yeah.
So, it's just weird to think about, this guy from a very high profile, the suspect of a high profile murder case is just no one knows where he is. And
He's
that's
just
it.
really
No
good at
one knows
hiding.
where he is.
What else can mad
Yeah, he's really
respect,
good
I
at
guess.
But
Probably
yeah,
changed
you
his
know,
name and left and went to some
yeah,
third
he
world
left.
country or something.
Yeah, apparently when he was released, I'm not sure if this is true either, but apparently he went with a woman named Naomi. But,
Oh,
but
did
I'm not
anyone
sure
look in
if that
Japan?
itself. Yeah, yeah, a girl named Naomi, which is weird because that's the name. That's not his girlfriend. His girlfriend's name is very different. So I don't know. Maybe he's hiding peacefully somewhere. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he served his time. He served his sentence.
I guess
But
5 years.
yeah, that sentence is just way too fucking short.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, that was the rabbit hole of a murder case I've been on ever since I was reading it.
So it was quite a rabbit hole, huh? Rather, don't you have like an entire fucking? You look like, when you explained this shit to me, you look like you had a fucking entire rabbit hole. Fucking, you got an entire iceberg, fucking charts
I had
worth of.
like an entire charting, and like the meme of like the guy in a chalkboard or like in a whiteboard, like going crazy.
Rabbi Chua was the murderer, I swear.
She had something to do with it. But yeah, Rebbe Chua herself, funnily enough, during the Unsolved Mysteries episode about it,
Yeah.
they purposely changed her name and like to protect her identity and stuff. But soon after, she wrote a book. So
Like the attempt, they tried to be respectful and
yeah.
and hide her identity.
identity.
Meanwhile, Rabbi Chu was like, I gotta chase that clout,
releases
bro.
a book.
That clout's good. When was the book published anyway?
I'm
What's
not sure.
Do you know the name of the book?
Voices from the Grave, I think.
So yeah, it seems that even before the existence of social media, cloud chasing was definitely
It's
definitely the one, definitely
But-
a thing.
But yeah, it's the thing that I suggest you guys look into it as well if you are interested. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more stuff that I'm not sure we managed to cover properly, but it's a very interesting case. It's like, it's on brand with what we're doing now. It's definitely very out there.
So yeah, that is the Teresita Basa
That's
case. We hope you enjoyed this episode and more episodes
Yep.
to come this year.
We're gonna plan. We're planning bigger things for the channel in this coming year. So hope you guys stay and thank you for watching.